Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. I hope you've all had a good week. I am Laura of LKG329 Sales on eBay, Facebook, Instagram, and here on YouTube. In this week's video, we've got 6 orders going out, so let's get to them. It's Tuesday after the Labor Day weekend, and we've got 3 orders ready to go out. First order going out is probably one of, if not the bulkiest item that I've got. And this is a Thrustmaster Ferrari 458 Spider steering wheel and pedal Xbox attachment. I guess would be the correct term for that. But it does have the pedals here and they work like they're supposed to. It has the cord that does attach to the steering wheel. And the steering wheel looks to be in good shape. None of the buttons stick. And it does have the clamp there so you can hook it on the table and the bolt screws in and out without issue. I wasn't able to fully test it. I've got an Xbox 360 and apparently this was made for the Xbox One or the S series or something like that. But I picked this up last year at a yard sale. I paid $3 for it. Brought back a little bit of nostalgia. I remember my brother had something similar to this for, I think it was the PS2 system. I really don't remember. I just remember having a lot of fun with it. So I went ahead and picked it up. It was pretty dirty and it still could use a bit more of a detailed cleaning, but I did put that in the listing and it is evidenced in the photos. But I listed it last week for $44.99 and I did go ahead and include it in my store-wide sale for Labor Day weekend, and so it sold for $38.24 plus shipping. Next order headed out is a DVD set. This is an Acorn Media show. This is Upstairs, Downstairs, 5 seasons apparently, and this was the 40th anniversary edition. I paid $1 for this at an estate sale and listed it, well, the discs are in really good shape, listed it for $14.99 and then did accept a best offer at $10.58 plus shipping, and it's a 3-pound shipment, so that's going to be $5.42 to ship it, which gives a total of $16 for this to the buyer. And once again, I like round numbers. I had another order that was similar last week, and so I did accept it, so it's headed out for $10.58 plus shipping. And the last order going out is another of the Fitz and Floyd Halloween Bunny Bloom items. And this one did not have a box, so I wrapped it up in bubble wrap, but I'll put pictures up here so you can see what it looks like. But it's just a little candy dish or trinket dish or whatever you would want to call it. But I picked up 10 of these items, or just Fitz and Floyd brand items, for $35 at a yard sale. So I've got $3.50 in this one. Listed it for $14.99 and accepted a best offer at $11.50 plus shipping. So my total for the 3 orders headed out today is $60.32 plus shipping. It's now Wednesday and I've got 1 order going out today. So the order going out today is a camera, and it is another of the Minolta brand cameras. This one is an X370, and it has a Vivitar brand lens and has this shaped fitted case for it as well. I picked it up at the Highway 127 sale for $10, got it home and tested it and did not find any issues with it. Of course, I don't have film to test it with, so I don't know exactly how that part of it works, but the shutter button works without issue. None of the other buttons stick or anything. So I listed this on the high end at $74.99. And when you look at the sold comps, it's kind of all over the place for this particular camera. But I had it on sale for the Labor Day weekend, and I did have a buyer come in. We went back and forth a little bit, but ended up accepting a best offer at $40 plus shipping. It's Friday and we've got 2 more orders ready to go out. First order going out is some vintage empty cologne bottles. It's a mix of the Saxony and then I think there's a Fabergé. Yeah, Fabergé in there as well, but there's 4 of these. They're all green bottles, and I picked these up at an estate sale along with all of these Avon items and more that are going to be donated instead of trying to sell them all. And so I paid $15 for all of them, ended up with about 25 cents, just under 25 cents a piece per bottle. And so I'm got $1 in these, and I listed them for $4.99 and hadn't had a ton of interest in them, and received an offer that I accepted for $3.74 plus shipping. And the second one going out is another of the books from the huge estate sale haul, where I bought all the remaining books for $30 at an estate sale. And this one is a hardback copy of The Worst Hard Time, The Untold Story of Those Who Survived the Great American Dust Bowl by Timothy Egan. I don't think there was any writing at all in this, and no highlighting or anything. So listed it, and it sold for $4.99 plus shipping. So my total for the 2 orders headed out today is $8.73 plus shipping. All right, so here is my yard sale haul from the weekend. Got a ton of this Falstaff. Well, I got a lot of pieces for this Falstaff tea rose pattern. Most of this is the USA made. I think either these or these, they actually say made in Mexico. So I don't know if that's going to affect their value or not, but they're the same pattern. I don't think these are Falstaff, but I haven't actually looked them up. The tags inside say made in Taiwan. And so I don't think these are original. I think these were bought after the fact to store the stuff in, but they match decently well. I mean, it's got the blue and the pink flowers on it. So, but we got some serving trays, serving bowls, vegetable bowls, some other serving bowls, the gravy boat, the creamer, sugar, candlestick holders, the butter dish, 2 glasses, this heart-shaped trinket tray, I guess is what this is. This is not Falstaff. This is a made in Taiwan enamel pot that has a very similar pattern to it, but it's not the actual Falstaff pattern. And then these have, once again, a very similar pattern. They say Fleetwood on them, so I don't think this is part of the Falstaff, and they are damaged and very worn, so I don't think I'm going to sell those or do anything with those. But what interested me the most was the flatware. I didn't realize, or it never registered, that Falstaff made flatware. And so this was what piqued my interest. So I started looking it up, and I didn't count how many pieces were here, but I saw where some sets were selling for roughly $50 or so. And I've counted them since, and there's enough to do 4 of each. And then there'll be some extras left over that I could do like a little replacement type lot with those. But all of this pattern was $30 for all of it. And so I'm thinking I can probably make that just on these. And then the rest of these, I haven't looked up each individual piece, but I think each piece would go for anywhere from $5 to maybe $20, depending on what it is. So I think overall it was a good buy. And then we've got another piece of Falstaff. Got this at a different yard sale. This is the Yorktown pattern. This is the smallest of the nesting mixing bowls. Paid about 70 cents for it, and it should sell for about 10-12 bucks. And then we've got some vintage Tupperware. There are 7 of these, and I did my math horribly wrong at this one. Well, not maybe horribly, maybe a little exaggerated, but they had 50 cents a piece on them, and I was going to offer $3 for them. And I have no clue what happened in my brain, but when I went up to pay for them, I said, hey, you've got 50 cents on these. There's 7 of them, which should have been $3.50. And I said $6.50. And they said, okay. I don't know if they caught it or not, which really doesn't matter. But yeah, I paid $6.50 for these instead of the $3.50 that I should have, or even the $3 that I wanted to offer. But like I said, I have no clue what happened, but paid $6.50 for these. But I think if I lot them all together, I can get somewhere between $15 and $20 for those. And I may end up keeping them. I'm not sure yet, but wanted to go ahead and show them to you. And then this stuff is what's cleaned. I'm just waiting to list it. That's what I want to work on first, getting listed. So this is my haul from the yard sales this weekend, and we'll work on getting these cleaned up and listed as well. Forgot about this piece until I was moving stuff around in the kitchen so I can do the rest of my filming today. But this is a Panasonic 5 DVD CD changer home theater sound system. And this was brought to me by a friend specifically for selling it on eBay. She knows that I sell on eBay. She's brought me stuff before. And so this is another item that she's given me along with some extra remotes. This is the one that actually goes with the unit, best I can tell based on other listings, but the remotes will still sell for a few dollars a piece. So I'm happy to have that, and we'll get it tested and hopefully listed very soon. So for the 6 orders that went out last week, it was a total of $109.05 plus shipping on each of those items. My cost of goods for those items was $18.50. eBay fees were $23.74, leaving me with a total product profit of $66.81 for the week. So I did go sourcing again this weekend and hitting mainly yard sales. Didn't find a ton of stuff, but I am pretty happy with what I've got, especially with that set of Falscraft stuff. At just $30 for all of it, I'm pretty sure I can easily make my money back on that and then some. Plus the vintage Tupperware was a nice find as well. I actually was getting ready to walk away from the sale. I had done a walkthrough and had already paid for one item that I bought for personal use, and decided to make one more loop back through everything and then saw those. It was like, how did I miss these the first time around? And like I said, I didn't do well paying for those, but that was totally on me and something that I will work on going forward, making sure. I don't know what it was this weekend. There was a few instances where, not just at yard sales and stuff, but even just in general life, my math was off, and I don't know. I'm usually a numbers person, and so it was really weird this weekend that I messed up so many times with my math. But the total I spent for reselling was $37.20. So a couple of things that came up with orders that have gone out recently. The first one is a potentially lost package. So this would be my first item that I'm having to deal with it having gotten lost. And so I've put in a service request with USPS for them to start an investigation as to where this package is. The tracking is only saying that it's in transit to the next facility, and that's what it's been saying for the last 5 days now, with no updates whatsoever. And the buyer did contact me saying that they were concerned about the package because it hasn't been delivered yet, and the tracking, there's no update on the tracking. And I know that they are just as capable of contacting USPS as I am, but I decided to go ahead and just take care of this from my end. And at this point, I'm just waiting to hear back from USPS as to what they have found and what to do going forward. So if you've ever had a package that's gotten lost, feel free to share in the comments what that process was like if you're willing to, and maybe give me a little bit of an idea of what to expect with this and any tips you may have for going forward on this. Another thing that happened was I did receive a return request, which I kind of expected to happen just with the way the whole thing played out. After they purchased the item, then they started asking questions, and all the answers were in the description, which I understand sometimes that happens. And then they were curious as to when it would ship. They bought it over the weekend and messaged me on Labor Day asking, hey, when is this going to ship? And so I just very kindly reminded them that, I'll ship it tomorrow because the post office was closed today for Labor Day. And they said, oh yeah. And I understand that happens. And it was expected to be delivered on Friday, and it wasn't. And the tracking information wasn't making sense, saying that it made it from Tennessee to their state, and then within a couple of hours made it back to Tennessee, which isn't really feasible to my knowledge unless you fly. And this was a ground advantage shipment, so it shouldn't have been on a plane at all. And they threatened to return the item because it wasn't delivered, and was showing that it was back here in Tennessee, and tried to calm them down and reassure them, hey, the tracking doesn't make sense. It seems to be a glitch in the system. and hopefully, it'll be delivered tomorrow, and then we'll go from there. And it was delivered the very next morning. And then later that afternoon, so this was Saturday, I got the return request saying that they changed their mind. They just don't want it anymore. And then also included that the steering wheel does not work very well. If it had just been that steering wheel doesn't work very well, I would have been absolutely fine with accepting the return and everything, because I knew there was a chance of that happening, since this is for an Xbox One or Xbox S series system, and I only have an Xbox 360, so I wasn't able to fully test it. That was in the description. They knew that that was a possibility, but because they put in there that the reason they chose was changed my mind, and then started the comment with, I just don't want the item anymore. And then I also realized that this was a brand new account that had been set up within a day or two of the item being purchased, with no feedback or anything. My first thought is, it's a possible scammer just trying to get a refund or something. I don't know. And I'm not required to accept the return because it's not an item not as described return. So I actually have the ability to decline this without penalty. And I did reach out to some resellers in a Facebook group that I'm part of, and just kind of showed them what was going on and asked for their thoughts and opinions. And the majority of them said decline it. and I fully understand where they're coming from with it. And I did have one person that commented pretty much what was going through my mind of just, if I accept it, chances are they're not going to send it back, because it was pretty difficult to package it because it is bulky. And then there would be no refunding that had to take place at all if they didn't ship it back to me. So I am going to accept it because I knew there was a possibility of the wheel not working, but I'm really leaning towards, if they send it back, and if it's in the same condition that I sent it to them in, then I'll refund them for the item, but I'm not going to refund the shipping. But I'll let you know how that ends up playing out. So now on to the last part of the video, a review of the September goals thus far. First one being the End and Sell Similar Daily, which is going very well. I haven't missed a day doing that yet. And then to list 3 new items for at least 15 days this month, and I've only done that once. I had planned on listing last week, and I did prepare several items to be listed, and yeah, I really have no explanation as to what happened last week. It just didn't happen. So that's something I will be working on this week. Something I have planned to work on this week. Let me put it that way. And then the other part is sourcing better items. I'm not really sure how I want to gauge that. I feel like I did with the Falscraft Tea Rose purchase. Not so much with the Tupperware and the one single Falscraft bowl, but I think there's still profit in those items too. So it may not have been a smash on that goal for this weekend sourcing, but I am definitely getting pickier. So that's all I've got for you in this week's video. As always, I do hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to hit that like button if you did. Also, feel free to leave me a comment below if you have any feedback, questions, or suggestions. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.